First up, let's dive into the typical battle style that uses the Gum fruit, turning Luffy into a rubber-bodied man. Being a rubber man means more than just stretching all parts of his body. There's an incredible elasticity, where his body can inflate after a deep breath or a big meal. Plus, he's got the insulation to nullify lightning. It's a truly versatile power. Luffy understands intuitively these abilities and applies them in combat. Only Luffy can fight this well with a rubber body, wouldn't you agree? His technique is superb, skillfully utilizing his well-trained muscular body and superhuman physical abilities. There are simple moves like extending his limbs to attack or inflating his body to bounce back cannonballs. And there's more. He's got moves like flinging himself around like a human slingshot. He has a great variety of techniques, right? If he knows the enemy's weak to water, he'll chug it down, puffing up his belly to become Mizu Luffy. If he knows his moves can be read, he empties his mind to deliver the Gum no Bow. He may seem silly at first glance, but he's got terrifying adaptability and tactics that actually make sense. Next, let's talk about the new combat form Gear Second, first introduced in the Enies Lobby arc. Surprisingly, its first appearance was quite late in the manga, showing up in volume 40. However, I think the presentation of the main character's power-up was wonderful and perfect. Don't you agree? The dialogue, the visuals, the naming, the abilities, everything was so cool. Defeated by Aokiji, Luffy was reminded of the existence of a stronger foe yet to be seen. He went on to talk about how if he did not become stronger than anyone else, he would lose the friends he wanted to have with him. To avoid that, he devised this Gear Second to fight with all his might. The epicness of that scene was simply out of this world. The idea behind Gear Second is to use his legs like a pump to increase the blood flow throughout his body, drastically improving his physical abilities. He could mimic one of the Rokushiki techniques, shave, known to exceed human capabilities, just by observing it. Normally, such a blood flow could burst a heart, but with a body made of rubber, it's doable. That's a fighting style exactly only Luffy could pull off. Due to the fast blood flow and high blood pressure, his skin turns reddish, and steam starts emitting from his whole body. The sight of him with one hand on the ground amidst rising steam is truly breathtaking. All his attacks, like Gum Jet Pistol, Jet Bazooka, Jet Whip, and Jet Gatling, have evolved a step further with the prefix Jet. After activating Gear Second, he was able to blow away Blue No, who disappeared using Shave with Gum Jet Pistol, proving the super fast combat. Furthermore, 2 years later, he managed to overcome the stamina drain, one of its major drawbacks. He's gotten better at activating it by using his hand as a pump or just clasping his hand. Moreover, with the enhanced attacking power from imbuing Haki, it's become one of Luffy's foundational combat forms to stand against the fierce fighters spreading across the New World. The next move that was first introduced in the battle with CP9's Rob Lucci is Gear Third. As opposed to the speed-specialized Gear Second, Gear Third is power-oriented. By inflating the bones with air, the body becomes so large that it can be mistaken for a giant, making it a truly powerful combat method. However, there are clear drawbacks in exchange for that formidable power. That is, the speed decreases more than usual, and the body shrinks after use. Nevertheless, the destructive power of Gear Third is tremendous, as Lucci was blown far away after being hit by the Gum Gigant Pistol, and his legs were also damaged by the time delay. After 2 years of learning to harness Haki, the techniques used have also evolved. Gum Gigant Pistol evolved into Gum Elephant Gun, Gum Gigant Bazooka into Gum Grizzly Magnum, and so on, with animal names being added. Furthermore, the destructive power has increased, as seen when he slammed the world-renowned Kaido into the ground and blew away Caesar along with a steel door to a far distance. By the way, it is used infrequently in the story, so it seems possible to overlap with Gear Second. With his body inflated by Gear Third and using the super speed of Gear Second, Gum Giant Jet Shell was used to defeat the former 7 Warlords of the Sea, Moria. Finally, Nightmare Luffy. This form is a unique power-up form only available in the Thriller Bark arc, which reverses the shadows pulled off by Moria. The skin of Luffy, who has been infused with a shadow, turns blue, and his body gets a size bigger, his hair stands up, and his catchphrase becomes Daze. To defeat Gecko Moria, who was once one of the 7 Warlords of the Sea, he is infused with the shadows of 100 people, each of whom mirrors the skills and combat power of their owner. In this way, Luffy was able to master a variety of techniques, ranging from his typical melee fighting to swordsmanship, which he was not supposed to be able to use. The pirates who had their shadows stolen by Moria discovered a use for the shadows that weren't their own as a form of doping that temporarily increased their combat power. Luffy, as a potential beacon of hope to defeat Moria, was infused with the shadows of 100 people. Normally, it would be a great burden to put in even one person's share, and one would faint if he put in too much. But Luffy incredibly retained consciousness while incorporating the shadows of 100 people and turned them into his own power. After the power-up, he stood his ground against Moria's secret weapon, the ancient giant zombie oars, without retreating a step. He easily caught a punch from that giant body, grabbed its hair, and swung it around. Then, with his Gum techniques delivering power and speed far beyond the usual, he pushed Moria to the brink. Following his Gear 4 Boundman, which made its debut in the fight against Doflamingo. Notably, it is characterized by a pattern reminiscent of kabuki makeup, with its model being the Neo statue, that fierce guardian statue found at the entrance gates of Buddhist temples in Japan, according to Eiichiro Oda. Gear 4 is a newly devised combat form developed during 2 years of training, combining hockey and the elasticity of rubber. The arm hardened with armament hockey is filled with air in the same way as Gear 3, this time producing Kinniku fusion muscle balloons that amplify muscles. This fusion of potent armament hockey and his rubber ability increases the elasticity and tension multiple times over. Remarkably, this technique maintains the nullification of blows while hardening the rubber. Imagine regular Luffy as a rubber band, only the surface durability is enhanced while utilizing the properties of rubber, much like a car tire. Owing to its nature, the method of attack has changed. Instead of merely stretching his limbs to strike, Luffy now stores them in his inflated muscles and launches them like springs. This allows him to fly freely in the sky, reducing the time it takes to unleash attacks while simultaneously enabling him to charge while moving. However, it puts a substantial physical strain on him, as he must continuously clad himself in large amounts of hockey, limiting the time he can maintain Gear 4. Moreover, when he reaches his limit, he can't use hockey for 10 minutes. In its inaugural showcase, he overwhelms Doflamingo, a former member of the 7 Warlords of the Sea and an awakened user of the string fruit. But he ran out of time and had to evade with the help of his crew. Finally, he shatters Doflamingo's God Thread with his powerful Gum Con gun, even knocking down the underground harbor along with the ground. It's a new combat form representing Luffy, fully applicable even in the New World. Next up is Gear 4 Snakeman. The form it takes is determined by the amount of air pumped in during activation. Unlike Boundman, which enlarges his entire body, Snakeman concentrates the muscle balloon and hockey on his hands and feet. This is why the same Gear 4s look so different from each other. By the way, adding more air from Snakeman transforms it into Boundman, and letting air out of Boundman allows a transition to Snakeman. However, because the muscle balloon and hockey are concentrated at the tips of his limbs, it lacks defense and power while being cost-effective. But Snakeman offers overwhelming speed by extending and accelerating his arm. It enables a versatile attack that shifts the trajectory of the attack, making it possible to counterattack from all directions. So much so that even Katakuri, who can see the future, can't keep up. Changing the trajectory, he fires his arms at high speed for the Gum Jet Culverin. He launches a continuous attack from all directions with the Gum Black Mamba. And the ultimate attack of Snakeman is the Gum King Cobra. As the name suggests, all the attacks involve words reminiscent of snakes. His technique has also been enhanced enough that he was able to deliver a big blow to Kaido with his Gum Hydra, a punch clad in the hockey of a conker. Alright, let's move on to Gear 4, Tankman. Compared to the previously discussed Boundman and Snakeman, you might not recall Tankman as much since it doesn't show up as often. But let me remind you, Tankman was activated in the battle against Cracker. Boundman is all about power and Snakeman is speed, but Tankman, it's the ultimate counterattack. Tankman absorbs the enemy's attack with its belly, and the backlash sends the enemy flying at an incredible speed. Think of it as an upgrade of the Gum Balloon, also known as the Gum Cannonball in the story. Using this technique, he sent Charlotte Cracker, one of the executives of the 4 Emperor's Big Mom pirates, flying far away. The strategy of Tankman is to use the opponent's attack as a counter. In Tankman, all the muscle balloons and high energy of Gear 4 are concentrated in the torso, making it look like a huge ball. The final form is Gear 5, which Luffy himself considers his ultimate peak. This is a complete reversal from Gear 4, where his body turns black by wrapping himself in armament haki. His entire body turns pure white, which is the awakened form of Luffy's Devil Fruit. The real name of the Devil Fruit, which had been thought to be the Gum Fruit, is Human Fruit, mythical beast model Nika. It was the embodiment of a sun god named Nika who once existed. Despite introducing Gear 2nd, Gear 3rd, and Gear 4, Luffy was unable to defeat Kaido. In the midst of a fierce battle, Luffy was on the brink of life and death due to the intervention of CP0 Eskelnica. However, his heart began to beat with the rhythm of the drums of liberation, and he transformed into this form with a brilliant smile. With Gear 5, his originally optimistic personality is even more polished, and he is filled with so much joy that he can laugh for no reason even in the midst of a battle. His attack technique is like embodying freedom. It has become a skill where anything goes. For example, he can freely enlarge any part of his body without any preparatory action. Just like the ability of an animal series to greatly improve physical abilities, he has been able to enhance his strength at will. It's a cheat that can only be achieved by the awakening of a superhuman series, affecting the surrounding objects, which shows the cheating nature of Nika the model. He even makes goggles from his hair and runs in the air with his feet spinning at high speed, just like in a gag manga. He engages in unpredictable, whimsical combat. By the way, the first time he transitioned to Gear 5 was a complete miracle. However, afterward, he managed to get the knack of changing his heartbeat into the drums of liberation, and he is now able to transition to Gear 5. Thank you for watching until the end. On this channel, we post summaries, explanations, and ranking videos related to One Piece. If you like One Piece, we would be happy if you could support us by subscribing to our channel and commenting. Thank you for watching till the end. Let's meet in the next video.